Okay, this reading is devoted to Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant for the month of July, 2020, of course. And the first week here, these two cards will cover from the 1st to the 4th, so 4th of July here, or the combination of the two. You know, it's hard to say if like this will be the beginning of the week and this will be later on in the week. Often it's just a combination of the energy and consciousness of the two cards combined. So, but this week, it looks like you're getting some recognition from the outer world. And it may also be that you've accomplished something on the inner levels and you can pat yourself on the back for that. It can be both. But there's, you know, you're in the limelight, something is completed. You know, we have the victory wreath here, and you've put yourself out there. And, you know, and now people are seeing your work or who you are, you know, seeing you for who you are, who you truly are, and they're happy about it. And so I believe that it's with the combination of the Magician here, the Six of Wands combined with the Magician, it's like your spiritual essence has been working in the realm of knowing that you can create anything, you know, within reason, anything that you want, and that, you know, especially directing energy through your hands and the eye-hand coordination. Mercury rules this card, so it has everything to do with communication, with you know, eye-hand coordination, you know, the mental realm where you know how to organize things, and of course, you know, all of your you know, your relationships where you share ideas and working to create what it is that you want. So what a wonderful way to start the month. Yeah, this is, the Magician card is absolutely wonderful for, you know, anything new that you're creating. But it looks to me like you've been working on it and now you're getting the recognition. So it gives you the you know, the encouragement to continue on. You know, like you've gone to the place where you realized, you know, I can do it. I have a really great idea, and I want to put it out there, and let's see how it goes. And it went well. It went really well. So there's at least some recognition from somewhere, and that doesn't mean that it won't, you know, continue it. It means keep going. And especially because in the next week we have the Ace of Wands coupled with the Ace of Swords. These two, all the aces are yes cards. But these two combined are like, you know, go for it. Go for it. Whatever it is that you've been wanting to, you know, to do, go, whatever this has been about, you know, there's more. There's even more. You can go for it again and keep going for more and more. And the new ideas are going to come in to nurture your vision, to nurture. I mean, these two cards together are fantastic. Actually, all these four cards are just, these aren't bad either. I mean, this looks like a pretty good month. So the second week here, we're dealing with the 5th through the 11th. So just remember, you know, go for it. And then, you know, if it were me and I got this card, I would be willing to, you know, stop and take notes often, because you're going to get ideas. This is a card of channeling ideas, and it can lead you to, you know, wherever it is that you want to go. And that's up to you, especially with the Chariot here. The only little bit of warning with the Chariot is if it's, because sometimes the Chariot has to do with our, you know, our vehicles. So any vehicle that you're using, you know, this week, which would be the 12th to the 18th, be careful not to go too fast. Stay centered. This is a card about being very centered and then moving, you know, from your inner being out into the world. Now, both of these cards, the Magician and the Chariot, well, and the Emperor as well. Oh my goodness, and you have another, whoa, you have how many? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of major arcana. So this is a big month. Wow. So with the Chariot, it is about staying out of your self-will and allowing yourself to connect with your inner being. To use this card in the highest levels of consciousness, it is to connect with your inner being and stay centered there as you're moving forward in life. And I think you're going to have that support with the Emperor here, because he's all about stability and you know, creating a strong, solid foundation. So whatever you're moving towards, I think this would be your emphasis, or this would be something that you need to, you know, remind you, kind of a touchstone for the month, like keep tuning into what you really want. And would this create, you know, when you're trying to make a decision or which way to go, because you've got so much energy here to get you there, always go back into the question of, will this create a solid, lasting, sustainable foundation for me? And if that's the case, you know, you're going to channel more ideas. You have the strategy to make the right moves, and you definitely have the energy to bring it all through. So these are two really, you know, high energy cards. Now, moving into the fourth week, we have the 19th to the 25th. This might be a little bit of a rocky week, but it doesn't mean that it wouldn't be good, because I always see the Five of Swords as like, you know, we're up against an inner conflict. So, and if, you know, if you're having this much success all month, it makes sense to me that it might bring up something like, oh my goodness, can I believe that this can really be true? That I don't have to work so hard and fight to survive. You know, can I just thrive by being who I really am? You know, I just being my unique inner, you know, being that wants to experience life in a certain way. And yes, you can. But if you have false beliefs and false tapes coming up that says, oh, life has to be hard, there's no such thing as win-win, you have to always be on top of things, you know, all these false beliefs that can come up. Well, I believe that that's, you know, that's the tape that's going to be up, and then, or some other false belief, whatever it is, you know, you can break through it. It's not based in truth. Win-win situations create more and more win-win situations. And you know, and then you're in the benign circle of love and abundance, and in that benign circle doesn't stop. Now, if we're in a benign, or if we're in a malignant type of malign, you know, circle of negativity, that will have its end. That will not be able to, it will fall apart. You know, it may take years, but it will fall apart. So you might have some awareness of how that spiritual law in action, and if so, just know that that's a huge breakthrough. With the Tower card here, if you do have any inner conflicts that have been creating negatively, you know, in a negative way for you, creating like negative reality, this would be the week to break through. And you know, when I see this card, I always ask myself, okay, well, who do I think I need to be in order to be loved, you know, and or approved of? And that's the false belief. You know, that's the false belief to work through. Because when we're in that vicious circle of trying to be what other people need us to be all the time, and be what other people want us to be, or who we think we're, I mean, it's just all an illusion. But if we're in that trap, we create crisis, and then we have to have breakthroughs. But we're in that trap, we're also coming from our false self. That's not who we really are. And so as we see that and we go, oh, wait, let me rethink this. Hold on. You know, who do I listen to? Is this guy saying something negative here? What is my higher self telling me? You know, what do I really need to hear? These two cards will definitely help you, and so will these. You just go inside to your inner wise guide that knows the right way for you and the right timing for you. And you can break through all this other stuff and let it go. And the real you can fly through, you know, sometimes very quickly, and restructure your life in a whole new way. You know, when you look at the butterflies on the card here, that shows the, well, the lightning shows that it can be very quickly. Can also be a little bit of a crisis. So if that's what happens, it's okay. Just know that this is how we learn. And, you know, that's the true meaning of crisis, is that something was holding us back and we had to break free at some point. And, you know, the crisis will help you get there. But if it's not a crisis, then it's just, you know, because if you've been working on yourself for a long time to become aware, what happens is you don't need to create crisis, because you'll be dealing with material that comes up from within as it comes, and you won't be repressing it. It's only in the repression that we can get ourselves into trouble, where we resist whatever's coming up, which is just completely unnecessary. There's never any need to resist anything from within. But if we deal with it and handle it and we don't stuff it down, finally we break through to our real self. And that's a beautiful, beautiful process. And then you restructure and rebuild your life in a whole new way that has lasting meaning, and it can be, a bit of a legacy for your own soul. So moving into the last week of the 26th to the 31st looks beautiful. You have some, with the tree of life here, this goes on and on and on. It never ends. It's the divine circle of abundance resources that you're based in. You're coming from a place of what values, what matters most to you, what your values are, I should say. So what matters most to you, you're going to find even more of that this week. And then coming down inside into your inner authority, into the integrity of who you are, you can share that with the world. And what a benign, beautiful circle here we have, And I see these two cards together, even though other readers might see them as challenging. They might say, oh, this one's a defeat and this one's a crisis. If we can defeat our own negative tapes inside and our own inner, conflicts, we don't need to create crisis on the outside. And if we do, so what? We go through it. We move through it, and and we're new. We're reborn anew. But because the rest of, all these other weeks leading up to, and these positive cards at the end of the month, I really think this is going to be more on the inner levels. So, don't be worried about those cards at all. In fact, celebrate them. To have a breakthrough is wonderful. To have an inner breakthrough is wonderful. And to have the experience of, coming from your real self from within. I mean, he's laughing in this card because he finally got it. If you go with just traditional education and schooling, or, redundant words there, but if you're in the traditional means of learning, you go to school and they tell you got to do this, do that, and then at a certain age you get a job, and you got to da 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 da, and so there's all this like outside authority. There's all this all these beliefs put upon you, and do you conform or do you rebel? Rebellion isn't necessarily an enlightened way to go, because then you're kind of pushing against something that was false to begin with, and the real the real truth, the universe is inside you, and the real you is inside you. When you come from that place of integrity, you shine from your inner authority out into the world. So it's a completely different learning situation. But this card, these two cards are very structure-oriented cards. So there might be, and so is the Ten of Pentacles. So I get the feeling that by the end of the month, you're going to have a really deep experience of who you truly are, and you're going to be able to move forward in your life from a whole new place. So, wow, I'm excited for you. So, be sure to drop in comments. Let me know how the month turned out for you, or send me email if you don't want to put it in a public comment section. And then, I think this is all I see for July. Be sure to watch the videos for your moon and your ascendant, if this one was for your sun, but you want to do, all three signs so you get the overview of, that's more rounded for the whole month, get more information that way. And thank you for subscribing and liking the videos and sharing. That helps me so much. I appreciate it. And take good care, and I'll be with you next month. Okay, bye.